Hello, my name's Nathan, and in this video, I'm going to tell you the mistakes I made with print on demand and why I decided. I can tell you it's painful to just start from scratch and do it the right way, at least in my opinion. And for those of you who haven't seen my prior video, this all started because I wanted to show my kids or two teenagers that you can build and start a store and start selling online super fast. So I spent 3 evenings, 1 weekend, and I created a whole bunch of designs to be able to build the boutiques and start selling. And you have here just some examples where you can see of the collection I built. The name was Be Bold, Be Brave right here. And here you have different the products I created. And I created super fast to show my kids. And I even ordered one. You can see here, this is my son receiving, super proud, receiving the hoodie. So you might ask yourself, like, what were the mistakes I made? And I'm going to walk you through that here because I actually started, put it on Shopify, put it on Etsy. You can see here, here's the Etsy boutique. So went very, very fast, but I made a bunch of errors. And there's a series of fundamental issues. And the biggest one being that my kids said they loved it. It was cool, but they would not wear it. They wouldn't buy it. Let's put it that way. I ordered the sample. My son liked it, but they said I wouldn't buy that. So I had gone super fast. And in fact, I missed some fundamental steps. And so we had a conversation with my kids and they said, hey, Dad, if you look at where do you go wrong and what's the right way to build a brand today? And if I could do a video about it. So I said, you know what? You're right. Let me just do a video and I'm going to cover 10 steps. So it's not just about getting some products and posting on Etsy, but actually saying, like, how would you go step by step to build a brand? So let's go to number one. And I have here, I'm just going to jump over here. So the number one is, what is your brand about and what are your products about? And if you remember, this is the famous YouTube video. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome, from Simon Sinek on YouTube. It's about the why. What type of designs, what type of collections, and why are you doing this? So if I tell my story, because it's very important to go back and understand the why, like, I've always been passionate about design. I've done photography, videography. When I was 19, I had gone around the world with a Sony camera, an Olympus reflex camera, a tripod, doing photography. And I've always loved the outdoors. I've loved activities, anything that's a little bit on the edge, surfing, climbing, skiing, hiking, mountain biking. And I always loved it, like edgy streetwear brands, hoodies, t-shirts. And so I thought, the why, I could combine my passion for the outdoors, for activities, for streetwear, into a business, right? Where I can actually create collections. So the number one is, okay, I've defined my why. All right, great. It makes sense because people are not just going to buy a product. They want to know the story behind the product, at least if you're trying to build a brand. So let's go back down here. Now I'm going to jump back to small screen and let's go to point number 2. All right. So you have a why. You can do that quite quickly. Then you start creating some designs. And, here I created a whole bunch of designs that I thought were super cool. This was the Be Bold, Be Brave collection, and I put them up there fast. And I just thought, wow, look at this, so cool. But, my kids afterwards said they wouldn't wear it. So I would say you create your designs, but before building the store like I did, actually, you go to point number 3. And point number 3 is the following. You test it with your audience. You need a small group. It's, in business, we call this doing focus groups, but really rapidly. I tested it with my kids, the children of my friends, some friends. And the funny thing was, like, the people my age were like, I love it, super cool. But the younger generation said they would not wear it. So super critical. So that's a problem. What do you do now? So here I spent all this time registering the names on GoDaddy, setting up the stores, etc., to show my kids I could do it. But actually, I had a product that doesn't necessarily resonate. I think it's super cool. I mean, I love this guy here, But anyways, if it doesn't resonate, then the product is not adapted to my target audience. Let's just go back here. We say, okay, I created some new designs, and you can actually see here as I'm clicking through here, you can see on the left some designs here that I started creating based on my passion. And one of the first sports I did quite young and discovered with surfing, and I just love the culture, the sense of freedom. And so I shifted, right? And so the number 3 is going to be like, okay, I did some new designs, and I did all these designs here you see, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. And I tested my kids, and they were like, Dad, I wear that. I'll buy that. That's super cool. I love them. So I did, my test with my audience on these designs. They said, okay, it's cool. So then I need to find a brand name and check website accessibility. And I'll tell you why. For me, it's important to have a website, but you don't necessarily have to if you just sell on Shopify or Printful, on Shopify or Etsy. But going to brand names. So here, very convenient, going into and looking here. And I went up and I asked in ChatGPT, like, I need some brand names. And originally, again, this is interesting. I went very fast. I made another big mistake. Is I did these cool designs. I did this exercise here to say, hey, find me a cool brand name, a list of 20 brand names. And one that came up with had the word street, and some other one had couture. And like, oh, that's great. I'm going to combine the two. And so I created this and I started moving. It's called Street Couture. Love the name. Actually, there's tons of researches out there with the hashtag. I'm going to tell you why it was a mistake. I didn't do the full diligence. And so learn from my lessons. But anyway, I started with that. It's cool. Here you can say, find me 20 alternative brand names to street couture that are not trademarked in the United States Patents and Trademark Office. And it came up. So these are all names I could do, Style Streetwear, Metro Mode, Concrete Selective, Fashion Faction, Urban Unison, etc. Right? So it came up with a certain amount, and then here more Street Explorer. And here I said, well, maybe I want that combines streetwear and the outdoors, right? Because that's my passion. So it came up with names. Now, the mistake I made, I designed, I had the reasons why, but then I came up with the couture. And if I go here and click here, and you go check trademarks, right? And you go into the system here, into tests, and street couture, which is the first name, you have here street couture, and you see it says live or dead. So I at first thought, okay, fine, these are just expired. But then I didn't do my research well enough. And unfortunately, after buying the domain name, setting up the TikTok account, the Instagram account, the YouTube account with Street Couture, I went reading into here and says, okay, it's a trademark that's been abandoned. However, I saw here that, in fact, I need to be able to show, even if it hasn't been used for 3 years, I need to be able to prove in court that the original owner had no intent to continue its use. This is a problem. So I went too fast, and now I need to change and build a new name. But that's okay. But that's why going step by step, really, really in a structured way. So finding a brand name. So I showed you here on ChatGPT. I haven't yet landed the plane on the new name that's going to replace Street Couture. That's fine. But I'm looking at it. And then what I typically do is I go into GoDaddy and I go check, is it available, right? Here's Street Style, okay, .paris.com, streetstyle.com. Typically .com is taken, but you can find .co, C-O, or something like that, or shop if you're going to make a store, but I don't think it's the best for a brand. So let's just go back to the flow, right? So find brand name, check website availability. And then on a site like GoDaddy, I typically, you can, if you find a name, you can buy it, and you have that domain name. And the reason, you don't have to do this if you're going to do on using Shopify or Etsy or those type of boutiques. I just find you want to have a landing page if you want to really build, not just sell some products, but a brand, but also because when it's your own website, then you can get email lists, you can collect information about your customers so you can inform them when new collections come out, etc., etc. All right, let's move to number 5. All right, brand manifesto. And I'm just going to jump over here back to ChatGPT. This is, what's your brand about? And again, before you go out there and build the store and the rest. So you'll see here, if you go down a little bit, and I wrote here, let me just find it. Brand manifesto guide. Let's go here, okay? And we go up to the top and we say, okay, this is a great way to start setting. So here, this is what I wrote. I wish to express my brand's identity by writing a brand manifesto. How can I do that? And what would be the content? So ChatGPT comes back and says, like, It's a powerful way to identify your brand's identity and purpose. It's essential declaration of your values, your beliefs, your vision. And I think, again, I was speaking to one of my best friends who lives in Brazil the other day, and I was telling him about, this project, trying to teach my kids how to set up, create a brand, set it up online, and basically learning by doing. And then they can I'll make these tutorial videos. They can copy me. They create their own brand, and we try it together. And he said, if it's really about a brand and not just some products, the why. What are the values? Why would someone buy from you? And so here, what are the values? Ask yourself, what's the selling proposition? What's the brand voice and tone? You don't have to spend tons of time on this in the beginning, but it makes a lot of sense. And you can see here, if I look at my case, I said, okay, who's my customer and my brand? Why? Where's the link, right? So my customer is people who believe in individuality and self-expression. And therefore, the brand is about street, outdoor, and trend-inspired collections. So it's that combination. Customers who like some things that are unique. And what I'm doing here is the idea is to have limited editions. So these collections are going to come out. There's going to be a limited number of pieces. Now, some people might say, why would you do that? I just like the idea of small batches that people can have something that's unique. And then, the customers it's a customer who wants authentic and transparent. And look at this video. I'm going to show the behind the scenes of how I'm creating this brand. And the customers, I'm interested in customers who believe in purpose, who want something purposeful. And I haven't defined yet, but the idea would be that every time I sell a t-shirt or a hoodie, I'm going to give back. I have to figure out the charity. I have some good ideas because I've seen some amazing ones out there. But I've always believed that, like in society, it's not just about your bottom line. If you can somehow give back and help others in the process, and in fact, doing these videos is also a way of giving back, meaning it's helping others through what I'm learning. And I love the dialogue. And so this is great. This is, videos I'm doing and tutorials for my kids, but at the same time, for anyone out there who's trying, who's like, hey, I like this idea, then it's also a way of, making it purposeful. So for the transparency, plus if people buy, some money goes for a good cause. And the last one is tech forward. Some people are anti-technology. I believe like use the latest tech. And you can see here, I'm using ChatGPT. I'm using different tools. I'm using artificial intelligence, embrace the tech in my view. So that's not a brand manifesto. That's just showing one of the elements of brand manifesto, which is, who's my customer and how is my brand? What are the values, the key elements of my brand, and where's that connection? So that's just an example there. Let me just give you a bit. If you look at this and you say, okay, so I'm trying to do, and this is an example I'm going to play now, a quick little video that you can see of how I'm expressing through voice images this collection to show, because down the line, you're going to have to do some advertising. So I'm just going to play this just 1 minute, but it'll give you an example of how you can start telling the story of your brand with beautiful visuals. And I'll do some videos of how I created this. I created this in basically, other than the mock-ups, and I'll talk about that later in basically a couple hours one afternoon. So I'm going to play it now. I remember that feeling, the energy of the ocean, hearing the waves crashing as surfers paddled toward the horizon. There was a vibe on the beach, a sense of freedom, of rebellion against mainstream society. I wanted to escape the shackles of the overly controlled gray world I lived in, with all the obligations, all the rules, when I just wanted to feel alive. I could sense deep within me this new culture which was emerging, with the surfboards, the clothing, the power of the ocean, the relaxed attitude, the idea of living in the moment and enjoying the simple pleasures of life. I felt inspired. It resonated within me. In this new limited edition collection, our t-shirts and hoodie designs are inspired by this unique culture, from the vibrant colors and bold designs that emerged from that sense of individuality, of freedom. It is deep, authentic, powerful. There is a connection to the ocean, a connection to nature, a connection to one another, a truly unique culture. And if you choose to be part of it, if you go out into the waves, or if you sit by the fire as you watch the sunset, then you will feel it. I hope you enjoyed that, but it gives you a real good sense of the brand, the collection, and I can show some of the tools. I actually put that together pretty fast. The text I wrote one evening, I just came home after dinner. I just wrote the text, came from the heart. Those texts you need to write, I believe, yourself, not using AI. Ideally, or you can get inspired because it's very important. It's about what you believe. And then really rapidly, I try to go very fast and streamline processes. And I have a way using GarageBand on the iPad because it's somehow for me much faster. At 4 clicks, I record and then I just airdrop it to my computer versus using on the software on the computer, which for me is a bit slower. So we were at point number 5. Now you're getting a sense of what the brand's about. And I sent this video before I'm building the stores. I haven't built it yet. I want to make sure it resonates. And my kids were, man, love it. And some friends are like, holy crap, that's amazing. Love it. You want people to resonate. And today, and I said in another video, but the number one form of content consumed around the world is vertical short form video. So it's on a phone, it's vertical. We saw that was a vertical, and it's typically 30 to 60 seconds. Now, I actually believe that, and a lot is just more the TikTok style, people going on trends. I actually feel a lot of that quality, some is great, amazing, very entertaining, but some's not great. So I'm trying to do something that has real quality in it. The music, the voice, the images. I want to inspire. Anyways, so brand manifesto, and have the brand values, the brand voice, the brand purpose, all that. You document that. I just kind of follow that script. So let's move to the next one. Testing the manifesto with audience. And that's exactly, can be quickly. It's a one-page document. You just say, hey, does this make sense? Or you could see here in the story I'm telling about the video, I tested it. And I got lots of thumbs up. I actually got some, people like amazed at what you can create today so rapidly. So that's the point where you say, okay, I've done the validation. I have a strong concept. I'm understanding who my audience is. I've written a draft manifesto. Now I picked the names. I'm going to go register the name. So whichever name you're looking at, remember, we go back here. You go into GoDaddy and you try different things. Street style, I don't know. Street escape. I don't like that at all, but let's just see. Okay, .co you see is available, for instance. So let's go back to the step-by-step, and we're nearly approaching the last steps here. So you register the name. So then create mockups. And now this is just mind-blowing what you can do today. So the print-on-demand sites, or even in Canva, there's some mockup options if you go in. But what I've been using, and again, some of these things cost a little bit of money. But if you go into Place It, you're paying, I think, $7 or $8 a month, and you get access. And they have, if you saw in the video earlier, you saw there was also videos. So I can put the designs onto a person. And I'll show you an example here if I press play. You can see here, there's a video playing of the mock-up, and this is one of the collections I'm working on, inspired. I had gone to Tokyo many years ago, and just the energy of Japan, etc. So this is a Japanese street style example, and here will be another one if you could see here. It's incredible that you can have video. In the past, you would have had to do a photo shoot. You would have just model rights. Now with the technology, you could really go and show what your product's going to look like in such a quick manner. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. That's how you can. And then also, I have a Canva Pro account, but they have great images there. But you can also go to sites that, like pexels.com. If you go here, type surf, and you go at the top, and actually that first image of the guy standing, I absolutely love it. You go here, see right there? So you can actually go and get some amazing images to put into. So that's, again, using tech, being tech forward, a part of one of the principles of the brand. So let's go back and then try to wrap this up. So create mockups. And you saw these here, all of these are mockups. These are all images here that I used from that site or from some other ones I could canvas. So you can see here, it's amazing. A man, a surfer. These are all the designs as part of the collection that I designed. And I have the process of designing, then bringing into Canva, editing. You see here, I add these circles because I want something unique. I absolutely love that. It's part of the style I've created. So you create the mockups, and then you go and create the store with print-on-demand provider. So because you're going to have someone who's going to print the products so that you can sell them. And then ultimately, you're going to connect it. You can create your Shopify store and connect the print on demand provider to your boutique, like Etsy, for instance, like I had done. If I go back here just to show, in the Etsy boutique, but this here is actually the Shopify. So that was the Be Bold, Be Brave Designs.com. Let's just go back here to the last point. So you create your stores, and then I said in a video, like, you build it and they will not come. Let me just come and get out of here because I'm just here. Let's go here. You build it, no one shows up. So then you have to do advertising, or you have to do word of mouth, or you have to find a way to drive some traffic. Now, a lot of people out there who are doing these type of businesses, they base the print on demand on what's trending. I don't know, it's Halloween, pumpkins are trending, and try to lean into that. That's one way of doing it. But my point in trying to teach for my kids was, let's try to build something. But there is something that is phenomenal and fantastic, and I'm just so excited about it, is even if it doesn't sell, okay, I would have spent a bit of money and it just happens to be okay. I'm a bit older, but actually really not that much to set this all up, to be honest. But let's say it doesn't sell. Why would I go and buy clothing from some big giant chain where I can design and print for myself? My child has a hoodie from me. He goes to school. I designed it. So worst case scenario, I'm just going to design for me. And I told my kids, like, that's insane. You could go to school. You could create your own designs. And you can print one piece at a time, custom print. And the quality of that hoodie is amazing. Now, I'm going to be looking at really high quality. I'm looking also organic, cotton. I want the product quality to be amazing. But just, you can have your own collection that you design. It's amazing. And you could go and be unique. Talk about being unique, being individual, expressing yourself, through the arts, being inspired by artists. Like, my eyes now, everywhere I go, I'm looking at hoodies, t-shirts, and I'm going, wow, I like that. I look different artists. I'm like, hey, that's amazing. Anyway, so that's, the first stages. So now behind the scenes, and I'll update you on the process, the progress. And I love this idea of a community. Like, join me, follow me, give me feedback as I try to build this, and tell me what you think, tell me what you like, what you don't like. So what I would love is, and I'd really appreciate it if you like this content. It takes time to produce. I decided to share the story, so I block some time on an afternoon, and just, if you click the like button, subscribe to the channel, it'll mean a lot to me. It also tells me that you like what you're seeing, and a lot more to come. I'm gonna, and post in the comment box if there's anything that you want me to talk about. Like, you want me to show you how I built that advertising video, I could do a video about that. There's a lot more to come. So I hope you love the content, and see you in a future video. Thank you.